We're Bison! We are impacted! We're Bison! We're ready to get up! We want to win! Light the fire of power that make us free! We never break down! We want to win! We are impacted! The best team!
Well, hello and welcome to TNI Impacted, currently live from the Total Nonstop Impact Network via YouTube and on Twitch. Today you may have noticed that we are missing our host Bison, but you are still joined by the lost one and only Joker and the man simply known as Steve. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're all good this end. Cheers, bud. Hope you're doing as well as you can.
Oh, I'm a bit nervous, but I'm doing well. Hope everyone in the chat's doing good. Who we got in there?
Don't think we've got anyone turned up at the moment, but still early, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, before we head on to anything impact related, we might as well get the nitty gritty that no one wants to talk about out of the way. We'll start off with the huge news that's rocked the world over the weekend. Love him or hate him, we have to take a time to quickly acknowledge that the news that has blown everyone's mind away, and that is that Vincent McMahon has retired from WWE. Now, things might not have ended well, but there is no denying that the WWE, WWF captured a large number of people who were watching before Impact Wrestling came about 20 years ago. And it's had its highs, it's had its lows, but a lot of today's talent wouldn't be here without the inspiration and motivation gained from talent that was a part of WWF, WWE, even WCW and ECW, which are now all fallen under Vince's belt. So there is something to thank for him, despite everything that's gone on, all the controversy. So, but will things get better? Maybe not yet, but well, wait and see. But changes were needed for a very long time. So all I can say is, regardless of what happens, cheers, Vince. It was nice knowing you. Goodbye. Let's move on. Any thoughts?
Yeah, like you said, it's one of those where everyone was calling for him to leave, but you don't realise how much he did do for the industry. So obviously, change is afoot, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's a goodbye. But yeah, thank you for everything that he did do.
Yeah. And welcome, Violet, and welcome, Mia. Good to see you guys. Again, apologies, Bison's not in today, so do bear with me if I do stumble a bit more than usual. But I have got a script in front of me too, so hopefully it should be a bit easier.
Yeah, we might need you guys in the comments today, so feel free to chip in.
Feel free to laugh as well. And other news that broke over the weekend outside of the Impact spectrum, Jonathan Gresham has requested his release from Ring of Honor AEW 2. Once again, Tony Khan has played the billionaire fanboy cards, and Gresham was forced to lose to Claudio Castagnoli. I thought I said that wrong, so I apologize. The guy formerly known as Antonio Cesaro. On Ring of Honor's latest or first appearance back on pay-per-view since it was taken over by Tony Khan, and with everyone on AEW's roster. And Gresham has been frustrated with Tony Khan's booking skills, or lack of, since he's joined, and it seems he's been getting a lot the same treatment. He seems getting the same treatment as Gianna Prazo did, losing the first big showcase for the AEW fans was just one step too far. It was the last straw. It was, he'd held the title for so long, and to then lose it at the first big event for the AEW fans. Ring of Honor fans like this, it was just a kick in the teeth for him. So, and the amount of disrespect he's gotten from fans since he signed to the roster as well has been ridiculous as well. So that's obviously pushed him away as well. And the rumors are ongoing that he's even considering walking away from wrestling entirely. So hopefully that's not true, because a lot of people, myself included, are saying that Impact Wrestling's here and waiting if you wish to continue. So
yeah,
what's your guys' thoughts on that too?
Yeah, I mean it's a real shame, but it's a shame, but it's one of those where you kind of don't expect. It's kind of expected now. You know, you saw his Ring of Honor card, and you kind of expected all the AEW talent to go over. So it kind of doesn't really surprise me. And while I don't expect Gresham to be walking away, I do expect this being a heat of the moment thing. I really think that his love he had for Impact while he was here, if he does come anywhere, it would be an Impact or just return to the independents. Part of me feels like I don't feel like we should put all the blame on Tony Khan. And while I do love Christopher Daniels, him being talent relations, that's a big job that he needs to sort out.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree fully. And okay, let's get on to the recap. Sammy's just dropped his ball in the basket. Bear with me. Okay, on to the recap. This past week on Impact Wrestling, we've had many instant classics, starting with Mike Bailey versus Dina, defending his X Division title in an epic clash of styles, as Dina and Dorian were desperately trying to redeem themselves from and free themselves from the disease and still be a part of Violent by Design. This was amazing. Dina shone through a mismatch just as much as Mike Bailey, in my opinion. The to and fro, the back and forth, the nitty gritty was amazing. You once again got to see that Dina is more than just a one-trick pony. Got to see the technical ability he's got, the endurance he has, even the quick thinking he's got, given the speed that Mike Bailey can go. This was a fantastic way to showcase the X Division once again, and Dina didn't disappoint. What were your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, well, like you say, you know, we a lot of people think Dina isn't a good wrestler just because he is booked to always lose. But there's a difference between not being a good wrestler and not having the good booking. And I think Dina here showed that he belongs in that top echelon of wrestlers and is a very good wrestler when at the technical level. So yeah, I mean, he can hang with the top tier level, and you know, if he got that X Division title, you know, he could have a hell of a run as X Division champion still. So yeah, he's delivered a 5-star match here. So everyone who's saying that Dina, you know, is boring, you know,
yeah,
I think in this match you've kind of eaten your words.
Yeah,
yeah.
Commentary did a really they threw the curveball there too. What if Dina did win, and you know, what would that Violent by Design rule still be a part of the X Division title like it was with the tag team titles? You know, could Option C just be gifted to Eric Young and then having going back to Josh Alexander? That was a huge curveball thrown in by Tom Hanna from that. Had me thinking Dina could actually win this match.
Definitely, yeah. I'll just say a quick hi to James Bryant, who's turned up. We've got Bonus Baby in, Aaron Jack in there.
Well, welcome, guys.
Welcome, Critical Sting.
Yeah.
Dragon Storms popped up. We've got everyone turning up now.
Good to see you guys.
We've got all the late poppers up, yeah. So welcome in, everyone.
Yeah, I agree with what everyone's saying about Tony Khan rubbing people up the wrong way at the moment. He seems to be having a pretty good habit of that at the moment, and it's it's not looking good.
It's not a case of what's said; it's how it's said sometimes.
Yeah. You know, he had that same problem with Big Swole. He said things, praised her one day, said something else the next day, and then it was a massive shitstorm against him. Anyway, back to Impact Wrestling. After the X Division match, we had the team of Diana Peraza and Chelsea Green as Vexed, finally then confirmed, beating Jordan Grace and Mia Yim. And soon we got to see now they are officially a well-established tag team. They gelled together perfectly in this match. Really showcased what they can do and what they've been holding back from everybody when they started to team together in Impact Wrestling. They've held this back for a reason because this match was amazing. And of course, But later on in the night, they were told that they'll be getting a match against Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary for Emergence for the Knockouts Tag Team titles. So there's a huge curveball thrown in there by Gail Kim after Gianna Prazo demanded that from her regardless. So we've got to see a huge character change from Gianna Prazo too. She's gone a lot more in your face and a lot more attitude, but it's also a lot more diva.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, first thing I would say is I missed the introduction of this match, and I came in when Deanna and Chelsea were walking down to the ring, and I saw the screen, and I was like, oh, okay, VXT. They've got a name now. And then obviously after they won, it was announced that Vexed had won. I was like, oh, I didn't put that together. So that's quite interesting how they've kind of abbreviated it. Although Impact do seem to have a habit now with 3-lettered teams, don't they? VBD, HNM with Honor No More.
Yeah.
So they have got a bit of a habit with this now. But they looked this was the best they've looked as a team. I thought that was their best match as a unit. And I think this tag match at Emergence is going to be really, really good.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. And any thoughts on the chat on this?
Bison's sadly a little unwell at the moment, so yeah, send him all your love.
Yeah, send love to the Bison guys. Hopefully we can still get to Chicago.
Yep.
Well, at the moment he's not well at all.
Yeah. Yes, Violet. Mia has been fantastic so far, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens after Emergence, because that match is kind of going to be you feel a new direction for her.
Yeah. Yeah, there was that added tension at the end of a match with Jordan Grace. There was definitely going to be a bit more of a nasty approach as this match comes around. But I agree. Bonus baby, seeing Gianna Prazo smiling a lot more lately it is pretty intimidating. It's like you just don't smile because you know something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
Although she was in the face of the referee during that match when she didn't get the fall on Jordan Grace. He shit himself too. So, anyhow, after the VXT match, Masha Slamovich came out and, as we expected, destroyed Madison Rayne and her face mask, handing Giselle Shaw the next death note. And this will hopefully be setting up a match this week. And as Killer Kelly is set to make her debut this week too, so we could be seeing something coming from there. But out of all the Masha Slamavich's matches against the talent on the roster, Alicia Edwards has lasted the longest out of all of them. Even Madison Rayne didn't last as long as Alicia Edwards, so that's pretty scary. Showing how dominant Masha Slamovich has been against all the more experienced talent, then goes up against Alicia Edwards and still had a bit of a punch up with her.
We sort of wonder if that's going to go anywhere. Do you think that Alicia's going to kind of sort of come out and say, "Look, I've got the record against you. You know, let's go again," kind of thing?
I'd love it, but then we know she'll just get completely crushed. But it would be good to if she can at least rub it in Giselle Shaw's face when she loses to Masha Slamovich. When she loses to Masha Slamovich, especially if it's this week.
Then how Impact book things, that is one of those things that could come a full circle, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's you wonder where this is going. I mean, you look at how things are building and you assume it's going to Killer Kelly, but you know, at the moment, how the Impact's singles division is lined up, there's kind of only really Jordan and Mia Yim left.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. Masha Slamovich is just on her own path of destruction. And hello, Larry Bongo. Hello, how you doing?
How you doing, bro?
Hoping Killer Kelly comes
out and say no more bullying.
Oh, Masha Slamovich is not a bully.
I'm very intrigued in this Killer Kelly's character because she looks and she's acting completely different to how we last saw her.
Yeah, but then this whole time in isolation and away gets you thinking. So this is going to be really interesting to see how she
Yeah.
comes. It's clearly someone who's not going to take shit from anybody. So she's either going to come after Masha Samovich or she's going to come after Jordan Grace, which is really, really good to see. For whoever that she goes up against, it's good to see. And
That's definitely not a bad call, Mia.
Bound for Glory, Jordan Grace. Oh, that would be a good match, Mia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. The ongoing bumps are plaguing Orlando more, and they continue as Heath continues to interfere in their business, taking out Matt Taven, I think it was, during their match, which allowed Ace Austin and Chris Bay to beat OGK once again, derailing the momentum, and even everyone asking, where was PCO? You know, this match was going so well, and then all of a sudden Heath comes out of nowhere, and PCO's not there to stop him. Where was PCO? We are in for an instant classic of this match. Really good back and forth, and Ace Austin and Chris Bay have really gelled together as a team in this match too. It's like all the new teams were holding back for this week, and as we're heading closer towards Emergence, because Ace Austin and Chris Bay were on fire in this match. They were a lot more coordinated, and they were really, really matching up to Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. And even with the odd cocky bits, Ace Austin just falling short of getting pinfalls and that, it was still a fantastic back and forth between them. So Heath coming out and actually causing the whole upset really actually pissed me off more than it was meant to, because I was really hoping that OGK would keep that number one contendership spot that they've earned and have not been able to go any further with. It's like Scotland was against them. They're against my family. Eddie Edwards is my family, guys. I'm almost new back in my bros. And Maria. From a distance, obviously. Any thoughts?
Yeah, like it almost feels like they're really pushing Bay and Austin in a case of if the Good Brothers do leave, because they're putting them in a positions of like, okay, how good can these guys be together?
Yeah.
And like I say, match after match, they're getting, they've had the first match and it was like there's a little bit of teamwork. This match, they were even better together. And like I say, when you're matching up against OGK, that's good. I'm liking this storyline with Heath. I kind of feel like you want to get to that next step now.
Yeah.
He's taken them out, but they're still coming back. So you want to get to that point where he takes them out and that's it. But I like where this PCO storyline is going, because I feel like it's going to go to Emergence. That is where he's going to splinter off.
Yeah. I think if we're going to get Heath and Eddie Edwards and PCO is going to split off before the event or after the event, something's going to happen there. It's going to cause them to split. But I think it's going to come down to Heath and Kenny King or Heath and Eddie Edwards.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting.
When you've got a heel character who's getting cheered,
yeah,
you're over.
Yeah. Well, it's just like Sami Callihan. Everyone was and Rosemary. Everyone was right behind them, even when they were in full-blown heel mode.
Yeah.
And speaking of Sami Callihan, he jumped Steve Macklin during a promo last week. Steve Macklin was on about how he's got one up in everybody, that he's ready to intercept any conflict, and then Sami Callihan just comes out of nowhere and attacks him from behind. And then Moose eventually came in and joined the fray after Steve Macklin managed to knock Sami backstage. But this leaves me wondering, where is everything going from here? Are Moose and Macklin a fully coordinated unit, or is there something in it for Macklin? Is there something in it for Moose? Because Moose doesn't. We've seen Moose and Morrissey work together for a short while, and then we've seen how Moose has used that to his advantage. Could we see this happening with Steve Macklin, or will Macklin maybe even get one over on Moose? But the whole involvement of Sami Callihan's interesting too. It's just I'm hoping we get to see Macklin and Sami one-on-one. But what are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, this is interesting. Like, I never expected to see Macklin and Moose working together. They seem like two polar opposites.
Yeah.
And it's a very strange combination, but it's a very dangerous combination. And at one point one of them is going to stab the other one in the back.
Yeah.
And it's a case of, okay, who do we see standing beside Sammy's side in this? And yeah, the possibilities are endless, really. I know we at some point were all calling for I can't think of his name, Moxley, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's just ever. Just don't think it will ever happen.
It would be nice if
So,
it did,
yeah, I
but
don't know.
sadly, I don't think it will.
Oh,
Sadly,
we've got the Bison in the chat.
the Bison's in. Checking if we're doing a decent job. We've got just over 20 minutes and we're still holding the fort, so not doing too bad. And I agree with Larry Bongo. PCO does need to get away from London more as soon as possible. And him and Vincent would be a great addition to the tag team sector. And I think that that's where it is going to be going coming up after Emergence. You know,
Yes.
Vincent is going to go with PCO because he's brought him back to life. So it's clearly something's happening there. Oh, and his team lost at Ring of Honor.
That's a bite we need.
I was reading what bonus baby said. His team has lost at Ring of Honor. Oh, it doesn't surprise me at all. I really thought it's looking at Vincent's post that he'd come out on top, but no. Oh, that just sucks. You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And trying to lean over to the keyboard with the dog in my way, so bear with me.
Like,
Yes.
for reals.
Other Righteous would be a great team to bring in. Yeah. Again, the tag team division is in a bit of an iffy situation. Like, you know, we thought we had a big boost with the Briscoes coming in.
Yeah.
And then obviously they've now departed. And obviously the Good Brothers are in a situation where you don't know. You assume they're sticking around. And for now they are. I would not be surprised if they stick around until January. Because they've got that, they've got a January deal, I think, with New Japan. So I would not be surprised if they stick around until then. But it's a case of, do they stick around longer than that? But other than that, we don't have any teams. You know, we've got a couple of single stars together.
Yeah.
So it is a case of, okay, we need some more teams.
Yeah, well, Ace Austin and Chris Bay are showing that they are an established team, which is a good thing. And I did forget to mention the Briscoes at the start of the thing because that was another one. They've now officially signed with Ring of Honor, so I'm pretty gutted to find that out too. But good luck to them. It's sad to see. I was really hoping they come back to Impact Wrestling because I would love to have seen them versus OGK after Emergence. But
it's a possibility. Yeah,
it's a possibility. And James Bryant with the Rascals, could they come back? Yeah, I think they could. It would be interesting to see if Wentz would come back because Kimberly, as far as I know, isn't an active member of the Impact Wrestling roster. I know people have said she is and she has or whatever, but I've yet to see it, and it would be good. It would be good to see Wentz again if people are willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and move on from whatever's happened in the past.
Yeah, and I mean, also it depends on what Impact want to do with Trey, because Trey has been on fire in the X division, and it really feels like he's been making that move from X division towards the main event. So it's a case of, do you halt that to put him back in the tag division?
Yeah.
But
well, here we go. Trey says he's not taking bookings as a singles competitor anymore. So that might just be on the independent scene, though, not on Impact Wrestling. Because I've seen him doing a few matches with Wentz on his Twitter feed too. But I think in Impact Wrestling, he's going to be singles competitor still. But on the indies, he's going to be like teaming with Wentz to help boost him up and get him back into the indie scene.
Yeah, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, we all love the Rascals, and I mean, well, I say most of us like the Rascals, and
I
think we'd welcome them back. They always provided some amazing matches, and I think we can safely say over the last few years they were one of the best teams to not hold the titles.
Yeah, that's the most saddest thing about them is they were so good they should have had the belts, but they also showed that you don't need the belts to be an amazing team. So it was a double-edged sword with them because they were so right up
and
there.
That's another good point. You know, he's on the verge maybe of a heel turn. You know, could we maybe see heel rascals?
That would be interesting too.
But yeah,
Just get back onto this. Where are we now? Yes, other backstage events. Online we saw Johnny Swinger pestering Laredo Kid in another hilarious attempt to shrug off his loss on BTI last week, which ended in Trey Miguel coming out and chasing him and Ziggy Dice off, showing that he can understand Spanish. And this brings us to a match that's coming up this week between all four men. This was a really, really funny segment. Once again, just Swinger being classic Swinger, and Trey Miguel sticking up for everybody, given the history between him and Laredo Kid. So it's going to be an interesting match. We got our first look at Jessica free from the Unknown Realm in what was another fantastic backstage segment from the Knockouts to Rosemary getting driven mad by Taya Valkyrie and Havoc's fashion sense, and back and forth between each other. It was just funny to see. And Rosemary's trying to get them ready to get and thinking into the zone by their upcoming match at Emergence against Vex. And all Havoc and Taya Valkyrie talking about is which scarf looks better on them. And Brian Myers once again was ducking matches he's been trying to get. Bapinda Guj has been trying to get one against him. Brian Myers once again ducked that, and that set up a match for this week on BTI against Vincent. But it's great to see Brian Myers is still like the digital media champion and just handling it as Matt Cardona was, full heel mode, ducking as much matches as possible, and so like he's the dog's bollocks, you know. And I'm the best champion in the world, although I've not defended it. So what are your thoughts on it, guys? And I do apologize for any explicits, but I'm a bit more unhinged than usual because I'm nervous as hell. So...
well, you know, Swinger continues to ooze character, doesn't he? And it continues to set things up that you don't really know where they're going, but they always have a great end goal, which is, you know, baffles my mind as to how he does this.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where you kind of wish they'd have a nice end goal for Swinger and Dice.
Yeah, Swinger's just got to have some end to its quest line.
Yeah.
I guess that's one kind of dungeon I'm thinking of, but still. Too much Skyrim.
Yeah. But no, I'm really intrigued as to this whole Jessica thing, because it's one of those things where, like, for me at the moment, the way it's going, I could really see like Taya and Rosemary splitting, and then Jessica going with Taya. How it's looking.
Yeah, one thing I loved about this was it sort of played out how I said it might be doing, like when we talked about it last week. You know, we had Rosemary trying to be the voice of focus, as Rosemary just mentioned. No, you know, saying, and then when Havoc brought up what happened to Sue Young, Rosemary says that we are the one who had to hang her. You know, I suggested that last week that we were going to end up being like Taya Valkyrie ends up being the one who has to kill Havoc. I can see that. I can honestly still see that coming now that it comes to a point where Taya Valkyrie has to prove is she aligned with Rosemary, and by doing that, she has to kill Havoc to try and get the evil Havoc back. I'm also thinking that we might be seeing Sue Young. I still think we're going to be seeing Sue Young because she's also on the Indies now as well. She's been making a few appearances on the Indies, and she's taking bookings on the Indies now. So hopefully, Sue Young might be back soon.
Yeah, like you have to feel that it's nearly time. I mean, they're starting to do the Undead Realm stuff, so you have to feel that they're leading up to it.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've ever seen a Rosemary and Sue Young team, have we?
No, they've never teamed together.
So that could be very interesting.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting.
It's something that's been always like, you know, as like we were saying earlier about like the Macklin and Moose. it's one of those things with like Sue and Rosemary. It's like the enemy of my enemy. It's sort of like it's so different, but it could work.
Yeah, there's a dynamic contrasting style between Rosemary and Sue Young, but they also seem a very similar character as well. And they're both these undead demonic thing, and but it's just there's a lot of chemistry between that. With just making them a really really savage team, especially if they can get Rosemary to act more nastier again, rather than as she is now, much more darker like she was when she came into Impact Wrestling. That would be good.
Yeah, but no, like it's quite like interesting how all this is building. The same way, like you were saying about how Myers is building Bhupinder. They're doing well. Like obviously he's ducking him because he doesn't want to fight him, but he's also ducking him in order to get him to go against more challengers and in a way like hone his wrestling skills. Yeah. So it's one of those where it's quite clever what they're doing, because you can kind of see him being the one to take the title. It's an interesting kind of position to put him, to kind of test him.
Yeah.
But obviously getting him to go through all of these challenges is a good way to kind of say, okay, I can do it.
Yeah, he's got a huge following across the globe, not just India. I'm friends with him on Facebook, and I read a lot of the comments on his posts, and he's got huge amount of support from a load of people. It's amazing to see.
He's got so much potential.
He's got a huge amount of potential, and his charisma is getting better every week, and his ability in the ring is just amazing. I said before he came into Impact Wrestling, he was one to watch, guys, and he's not proving me wrong. He's really good.
Yeah. We just say hi to Hackie. We just popped in.
Hello, Hackie. Welcome, guys. And wrapping up everything from last week, we finally got to see who is going to be taking on Josh Alexander next week in an absolute show-stopping match of the year contender for me, between Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, in what was Alex Shelley's first #1 contendership match ever for the world title, and his first match against Chris Sabin since they clashed in 2009, where Shelley won the vacated X Division title. And if any of those details are wrong, then please do correct me. But that's what I can remember from what Tom Hannafin gave me in the history lesson. So by all means, please do correct me if I'm wrong. It was an amazing match. I could go on for ages about how good this match was, and the nitty gritty details, because I did watch it again on Monday and I watched it again this morning. So I've seen it three times, and the commentary carried this match well. The moves were just amazing. They matched each other so well. And Alex Shelley got back to unleash a much more nasty side of him without going full-blown heel, which was good too. So there was still that mutual respect between them throughout the entire match, even though Alex Shelley was getting really aggressive with the dragon screws in the corner, the dragon screws in the ropes and everything, and that amazing pretzel submission hold he had on Chris Sabin, bending his knee over and pulling his arm across his face as well. That was just amazing to see. That you forget how good Alex Shelley is when you see, because everyone's seen Chris Sabin mostly as the singles competitor, and Alex Shelley's been out of the spotlight because he's been elsewhere. And then that this was a great way to show, and Josh Alexander not facing Alex Shelley before. This is going to be a huge match for both of them at Emergence. We've seen what Sabin could do with Josh Alexander when he was X Division champion. This is going to be amazing.
I love this match!
We do. Yes, we do indeed.
Yeah, like you say, it was everything we knew it would be and more. And I'll be honest, I knew that Shelley hadn't been in a lot of the positions that Sabin had been in, but I was stunned to learn that this was his first shot at a world title, or first #1 contender shot, and first main event spot for a world title.
Yeah. I really thought he would have had at least one or two.
And it's one of those where you know that they're both from the same background, and they've both done the same through the business, but you kind of forget like how much more Saban has had in Impact than Shelley. So it's because obviously he has had 2 world title reigns, I think. Saban, and and obviously Shelley has never even had a number 1 contender shot. So it really is that different. And Shelley is world champion material. He really is. So this is going to be, and especially because I think Shelley does have more like submission background in him, like we saw in this match. Yeah. So it's gonna be a great match. And he does, like you say, have that little bit more attitude behind him, I think, which will help with the dynamic of the match.
Yeah, Larry Bunga said it very well. This match was just amazing. The timing between it, because they know each other so well, the timing with every high flying spot or grappling move, it was perfect. Yeah. This match was a faultless in-ring storytelling exhibition.
Yes.
And like you said, Steve, I think Alex Shelley winning. Well, I had a suspicion he was going to win when Josh Alexander said that Alex Shelley had never had a match before against him. But Alex Shelley winning and having that nasty streak in him is something that Chris Sabin just doesn't have, because Chris Sabin was such a nice guy. Yeah. So that's going to add something.
Yeah. And I'll just answer this question from Violet. Like, I don't like teams being split up, but this wasn't a match to have them split up. It was more of a respect match. Like, okay, let's just see which one of us can win this match. You know, after this match, they'll go back to being a team. It's not a case of, okay, I'm going to turn on you and we'll never be a team again. It was more of just okay, let's have a match for the sake of it kind of thing.
Yeah, well,
so, I don't like teams being put together and split up, but it's just a respect match.
Yeah, this was a bit like when Eddie Edwards and David Richards would scrap for the exhibition title. You know, they had a shot they were in triple threat for the exhibition title, like against Tigre, I think it was, or some. You know, they would mutual respect then between who was going to win and who was going to lose, but neither of them won that match. So, but again, like you said, this wasn't a split the Motor City Machine Guns that match. This was just literally they were the 2 top guys left to viable for a world title shot, seeing as Moose and Macklin were elsewhere. So, and Scott D'Amore said, if you guys really want it, then you guys can go for it. And they did go for it. And this match ended with another assault by Dina and Doring after Eric Young still wasn't satisfied with Dina's efforts against Mike Bailey. The Motor City Machine Guns were then saved by the time splitter Kushida, Alex Shelley's former tag team partner from Japan, who was also set to take on Rich Swann this week, possibly setting up the next number 1 contender for the world title after Emergence. Over the weekend, it was revealed that Shira and Raj Singh had stopped Josh Alexander from coming out to help last week. So this is why we didn't see Josh Alexander come out to help with the assist, which did leave me wondering where's Josh Alexander. He says he turned his back on everybody or something like that when I watched it, and then I saw this literally about half an hour after watching it on Saturday, what had actually happened. So that was like, and of course this week we've got the fallout from that coming too. So it was a great twist again to show that Eric Young's possibly got more tricks up his sleeve than people think. You know, could Raj Singh and Shira be in Violent by Design, or is this just something completely different? Is Eric Young testing Dina and Doran? Could they be having to put themselves against them?
Yeah, it's quite an interesting moment, because I mean I didn't even see this afterwards, so I was a bit like, oh, okay, what's happened? So I just assumed that it was EY stopping Josh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was quite surprised how this match, this moment came about, and I'm quite intrigued because I've been trying to push Shira for a while. So this is a good moment for them to say, okay, go out there and prove us.
Yeah.
As for the Kushida moment, yeah, we knew this was coming, and it's perfect, really, because I mean, I kind of assumed that it would have something to do with this because of obviously his history with Shelley in the Time Splitters.
I love that game. Such a great game.
I think over in Japan, him and Alex Shelley were part of a tag team called the Time Splitters.
Yeah, they were, but Time Splitters 2 and Time Splitters 3 were two of my favorite games. So,
But yeah, it's so yeah, I kind of assumed it would have something to do with that, but which might lead on to Kushida sticking around and adding a tag team there, and who knows, we may get Storm back and reform Beer Guns.
yeah. And to answer your question, that when Saban landed on his head from that suplex from Alex Shelley, that sent shivers down my spine. I've ended up going up and over and landing on my head like that before, and it's not pretty. I've not been a wrestler or anything, but I've ended up flipping myself over, landing on my head like that. It's bloody painful.
Yeah,
and,
like I say, it looked nasty, but obviously, when both wrestlers are standing at the end, you're like, okay, obviously he's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Dead Punk Gage. Shelley suffered the Dean Malenko complex. He's the most technically proficient guy in the ring, but doesn't get a lot of time to really show his personality since the paparazzi days. Yeah, Alex Shelley's promo work has gotten a lot better since I've been watching Impact Wrestling since 2016, so I've not seen a lot of Alex Shelley. But looking back at old videos and seeing how he's come now, it's getting a lot better. His personality in general and ring, that nasty side that we've seen from him since he took on, I think it was Trey Miguel. That coming through has really started to show that he's more than just Mr. Nice Guy, and it's really setting up this match with Josh Alexander pretty well too. Because like Steve said earlier, Shelley's a submission specialist, and Josh Alexander is a submission specialist too. So we're really going to see a lot more from them. And Chris Sabin tapping out in this match, sending a message too that Shelley's not going to be looking for the pinfall in this match. He's going to most be putting you through as much pain as possible and making your life as much more of as much of a misery as possible to get this win. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Josh Alexander can do. Could he make sure he tap out?
Yeah, like I say, and for those who like a lot of high flying, this will be, I think, a mix. This isn't going to be your flat out X Division match. This is going to be a mix of X Division and then a mix of mat based wrestling.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that commentary will inform. One thing that Hannafin and Raywalt are good at is they are good at informing you of what is going on elsewhere, and they're good at informing you of what specific wrestlers have done elsewhere in the past. So if you don't know who a wrestler is, they are good at giving you information on who they are.
Yeah, it's you can tell that Tom Hannafin's he really knows his stuff. As soon as Kushida came out, he mentioned that him and Alex Shelley had that history as the Time Splitters in Japan, and that instantly clicked to me then, because I recognized the team's name before as well. So I knew Kushida. I recognized Kushida's name from that team. I didn't know Alex. I forgot that Alex Shelley was a part of that team. I thought it was just two guys from Japan, that Kushida and somebody else, but no. So it was good to see, and
yeah, I'll go along with that.
Yeah, and that's really the recap of last week. So apologies for dragging on a bit there, guys. This week we've had the digital media exclusive between Ryan Von Rocket and Matt Vine. Now, I don't know if you guys saw my tweet before we came on live. I've watched this match twice, and I do recommend you guys do check this one out, because this was a really, really good match. It was a good 6 minutes long, back and forth between two guys who have both been on Impact Wrestling before, but one-off appearances. Matt Vine has been on, I think, at least once, and Ryan Von Rocket was mentioned by commentary as well a couple of times. But the match was a good, fun back and forth between the two of them, and Matt Vine coming from Chicago, I think we might be seeing more from him in the future too. So this was probably like an introduction to him coming in for a couple more appearances, maybe on BTI, maybe a couple of one-off matches on as we head towards Chicago for Emergence. So it was just a good fun match. No spoilers. Okay, well I don't think I've mentioned who won, but I do recommend you you do check it out, because this match was a good fun match. Nice, short and simple. And the commentary really, and Tom Hannafin cracked a few jokes and that had me laughing as well, and Matthew Raywald, and you wouldn't expect Matthew Raywald to laugh at Tom Hannafin's jokes.
Yeah, no, like I say, I've not seen it yet. I remember Ryan Von Rocket as Ryan Howe back when I think he did Gut Check in about 2013. I think, did he go against was it the Big O, Adam O'Ryan or something like that?
I have no idea.
But yeah, like he had an impressive look and an impressive entrance. I think his wrestling back then was like okay. I think O'Ryan won, I think, if I remember right. But yeah, it's one of those where like there was some potential in him, and obviously the fact that Impact are putting this match on with him in, shows obviously, okay, maybe they're giving him a bit more, another look. But, yeah, like I'm intrigued to sort of see how he's developed, so I'll definitely give it a look. Because I think he came out playing guitar, so
he's really into his character now. He's got this double-headed guitar. It's amazing, and he's got a partner with him as well, which is quite interesting to see. A manager with him as well. It's a really good fun match, and just reading a couple of messages in the chat to see if I've missed anything, because I know I've not been paying much attention to the chat, so I do apologize, guys, but it's a bit hard to do 3 things at once. I'm trying to host, read the script, and read the chat. I booked it, really. I wrote the script, so I'm the one getting confused by my own mess. BTI, we got Vincent versus Vipinda Gusha, and they laughed and they laughed and they laughed. And this, I think here we might possibly see Heath come out, maybe, but it does on the card. It doesn't say that PCO is with Vincent as well. So whether he is on the night or not is a different story. But looking at the post on Twitter of all the matches that have been released so far, Vincent is on his own, which is quite surprising. But I think we might see PCO with him during the match. But if not, then to quote ADF, where's PCO? What's happening? If he's not there with his master, then something's not right at all. Especially if he comes and takes Vincent out as well.
This is an interesting one, isn't it? Because obviously you kind of need Honor No More to get a few wins. And obviously... Actually, no, scrub that. Because obviously PCO is kind of getting into the doghouse, isn't it?
Yeah,
isn't he? And I think if you have Vincent lose this, that kind of that puts him in the doghouse with him, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that is kind of a good way to slowly move Vincent towards the PCO story. So yeah, that is a good. It's a good booked match, I think.
Yeah, we've seen Vincent stick up for PCO once or twice too, and Eddie Evans nearly bite his head off. And so Matt Taven's the one who's had to, or Kenny King's had to jump in and try and calm Eddie Evans down. Yeah. But Vincent brought PCO back to life after that match with Jonah, so they're tied together really well. And if they break away, then we know it's back to Roos and Crazy Steve could have some guys ready and waiting for him.
Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, if they do break away, you have to say the other trio, Taven, Bennett, and Edwards, that's quite a nice trio.
Yeah. And we got Kenny Keenan to possibly mop up the X Division too.
Yeah. Yeah. And King's kind of a bit in the middle, isn't he? He's kind of sometimes lost and had it shouted at him and sometimes not.
Yeah,
but, it's what 4, 5, 6. 6 is quite a big number, but 4 is quite nice, isn't it? And that's 4 is you could have near enough hold all the titles, the X, the World, and the Tag. You're only missing the digital media, aren't you?
Yeah, but he used to say that someone can't win 2 titles. Kenny King already Edwards could win digital media title as well as the World or X Division title.
I think Mears called it.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's going to come out and possibly take out Vincent, and this will then build on to the night itself, which will then add a bit more to the night. Because so far for the night itself, I've only got the 4 big matches. So in the order they are posted on Twitter, it goes Laredo Kid versus and Che Miguel versus Swinger and Ziggy Dice, Josh Alexander versus Shearer, Eddie Edwards with Kenny King versus Ace Austin with Chris Bay, and then the main event is Rich Swann versus Kushida. And while it's currently not announced on the card, Giselle Shaw and Masha Slamovich is most likely on the table too, because last week Killer Kelly was set to make a debut this week. So hopefully I'm not proven wrong, and that match is on the cards too. That, and I want to see what happens with Giselle Shaw and Masha Slamovich, because she's been ducking way too long now. So I think her time has come, sadly.
Yeah, we've got quite a lot announced, but all of them, all of them really good. I mean, part of me is really looking forward to Laredo Kid and Trey Miguel just dancing around Swinger and Dice.
Yeah, they're gonna make them dance, and they're gonna play with them a bit more. This isn't gonna be a 2-minute match or a 5-minute match. There's gonna be some foul play. There's gonna be some nitty gritty, and Trey Miguel and Laredo Kid are both got a bit of history with Swinger as well, especially. So they're going to be wanting to get some revenge on him.
Yeah, but I mean, if you've not seen Kushida before, then I mean, him against Rich Swann is going to blow the roof off.
Yeah, that's one hell of a match.
Yeah, I mean, if you were trying to think of someone for him to go up against, Rich Swann is basically the perfect opponent.
Yeah, it would have been Rich Swann or Josh Alexander would have been the 2 guys you wanted to put him up against first, or Eddie Edwards if Eddie Edwards wasn't involved in Honor No More. If Eddie Edwards is still heel, not involved in Honor No More, I would love to see him versus Kushida. But this whole Bullet Club storyline with Honor No More is going so well. To see Ace Austin once again taking on Eddie Edwards, it could be a bangarama for all we know. And
that's got so much story behind it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Eddie versus Ace.
That big story of Eddie Edwards and Ace Austin finally rearing its head after so long. I wonder if that will actually get brought up in commentary though, when the history between Ace Austin and Eddie Edwards.
I'm sure it will, because as you know, they do like to kind of go back and kind of touch on these things, don't they?
Yeah, there's so much history between the 2 of them. So I'm just wondering. I just hope Edwards doesn't come out and try and calm things down between either of them. And we touched a bit on Josh Alexander and Shearer, but what are your guys' thoughts in the chat? Let me know what you think of any about the matches on the card so far.
Yeah, what are you looking forward to the most? Because I mean, we're only a couple. Is this? No, we've got one more show I think before Emergence, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got this week and then next week, and then we're on to Emergence. So of course, there's the fallout between Jordan Grace and me, and probably going to be this week. We'll probably get a backstage segment between the 2 of them, but that's coming soon. They're going to have one final match, and Tasha Steele is another one we've not seen or heard from her since.
No,
Mia Yim, I think it was, beat Savannah Evans. So
yeah,
many of them.
Sort of just, I mean, it's one of those where what Tasha's like. She kind of likes to plan and plot, doesn't she? So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting to sort of see what she does when she comes back. But does she go for the knockouts, go for the tag, or even go straight after that digital media title?
Yeah, Tasha Steele would be another one that would really, really suit the digital media championship. It'd be really, really good to see.
Yeah, she'd be blowing the Twitter and everything completely out of the water, wouldn't she?
Oh yeah. Jordan Grace was the first digital media champion. There's no saying that another woman shouldn't be holding the title. But Tasha Steele's, she's got such a strong presence online. It just works.
Yeah, let's say you could have anyone pop in and grab it, and let's say, speaking of popping up, brother J-Bone.
What is up, guys? How you doing? Good day to you.
Doing very well, thank you.
Good day to you.
How are you?
We're good. We're good. I heard my boys were live, and I heard you were down one, so I figured I'd pop in here for a while, or the rest of the show, whatever works, and see what's shaking. What's on topic, guys?
We've just run down the full card and the full. We're pretty much all at the end of the show, but if we can jump back to some of the talking points from last week, if you want to get your thoughts on.
Well, I tell you what I'm most excited for this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rasha Samovich.
The time man himself, Kushida.
Kushida Swan.
Kushida showing up. Yeah, I can't wait for that. Look, win or lose, it's like all right, it's Kushida's first match. We kind of, you hate to think, well, okay, he's gonna win, but try not to think of it like that, folks. This is a monumental moment in what I mean. He could be the X division, could be main card. We don't know where or how long Kushida is going to be with Impact Wrestling. The relationship is strong, so we just got to bank off of that. And we'll see how long he's around. But I tell you, man, it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast. One
thing I do like about this match too is this match is really about Rich Swann proving he's still got his mojo. I know I mentioned in the whole script and everything that this could be potentially setting up the next #1 contender. So assuming Rich Swann wins, he'll get the next title match, or assuming Kushida wins, he'll be the next #1 contender. But regardless, Rich Swann has still got strong contendership for Josh Alexander or Alex Shelley after Emergence after this match. So it doesn't damage Rich Swann win or lose either way.
What do you guys think about now, this one could have went either way last week. I just got to get your opinions on this. When it was Saban versus Shelley. Shelley winning, and when it kind of looked like Saban was going to win because he was the first one that grabbed that title and was looking at it and had that little back and forth with Josh. So people probably automatically was like, all right, well, Alex is back here somewhere.
Yeah.
He came to the forefront, and I said on last week's show, I said, man, if anyone is having as good of a year as Chris Sabin, it's Alex Shelley. He may not have been around as long, but man, he's killing it. What do you guys think of Alex Shelley versus Josh coming up?
I can't wait for this match. We were talking about, Alex Shelley's character has come a long way since he's come back to Impact Wrestling. That nasty side, Tom Hannafin and Matt Ray Matthew Rayward talked about. We've seen that since he went up against Trey Miguel. That evil streak he's got inside him, but to still show a huge amount of respect after the match, and I can see this coming through in Josh Alexander. They can both go to that dark area if they need to, and they're both going to have to, because I can think this is going to come down to who taps out first rather than who gets the pinfall.
Oh yeah.
Because that's Chris Sabin losing by submission, something we don't see often, and to have it happen to Alex Shelley was just amazing.
Yeah, it's Saban. I'll say it once, I'll say it a million times. Saban's been having a career year over the last, between the year and 2 years. I mean, he's just been killing it. Healthy as ever and just blowing our minds. Steve, what do you think about Shelley winning over Saban?
Like you guys said, going into the match, I was like, well, Josh and Saban makes so much sense. But Shelley has never had that opportunity, and you really need to kind of give him that opportunity. And it's a shame that Josh is only a few months into his reign, because if Josh had have won the title, like say Bound for Glory, I'd say give Shelley the belt, because he's never ever had it.
I'm completely not against that. I would love to see this is the 20th year, so you bank on some nostalgia. We had some at Slammiversary, we had some at the last show. I haven't had any coffee yet today, so I couldn't tell you what the hell it was. Someone please refresh my memory.
We had Chris Harris recently as well.
Right.
America's Most Wanted, and James Storm was there. We've had Raven come back.
Right.
David Young /
So there should be little drops of nostalgia like all year. Celebrating this legacy. And if you've got guys that literally aren't stinking up the joint. I've used that term several times on this podcast. When they bring back veterans, they don't bring back guys that are, 100 pounds overweight
Yeah.
and looking like that soundbite. No offense, Shark Boy, we love you, but covered in donut grease or whatever.
I can turn it on anytime. You just wait.
I can turn it on anytime, Pat.
Come on,
no
we
problem.
gotta go.
Yeah, that's the one. Thank you. Saban has been tremendous. Alex Shelley has been tremendous. Dare I say those two together have been one of the best. Like, I don't care about wins and losses, but just presentation wise, in ring work, one of the top tag teams of the year. So yeah, I'm ecstatic for this. Hell yeah, look, don't get me wrong. I love Josh Alexander. He is the next like Kurt Angle-esque type wrestler in this industry, and we've got him in this company, so that's great. But I am not against Alex Shelley winning, and just for the rest of the summer. I don't care if it's a short run, whatever it is. Throw some different people at him. He doesn't have to be heel.
Yeah.
So,
Just reading through some of the comments before we sign off, just to see what anyone's got to say. Yeah, I know Courtney. I welcome Courtney. It's good to see you finally. You came in a bit later than I'd hoped to see, but it was good to see you. The predictability of Josh Alexander winning at Emergence is there, but that's going to take nothing away from how good this match is going to be.
Right. Just love it,
Yeah. When Josh Alexander was X Division champion, we could see him beating Chris Sabin. When Josh Alexander was world champion, he went up against, trying to think of guys he's been up against now since he's won the title. No, that isn't Moose. Christ, anyone he stood up to at the moment, it's been too soon for him to lose the title, and Josh Alexander has just proven he's a massive fighting champion. But
he's great. He's great, and honestly, some of Josh Alexander's best stuff hasn't even been in Impact. And I'm gonna throw a reference to my boy Trent over in that other little show that we do, the company he works for, AAW. Man, Josh has had some ridiculous matches in that company, and just, man, if you're not watching that, just for at least checking out Josh Alexander and some of the other incredible Impact talent that trickles through there once in a while. Young's been in there, Bennett's been in there recently, Ace Austin, of course.
Ace Austin's a mainstay there. He really does kill it over there. It's amazing some of the stuff he does.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good time. I mean, yeah, we win some, we lose some. As far as losing some people, I see some people talking about the Briscoes and stuff, but and it sucks that the Briscoes are gone. I actually, it's like they just signed a long-term deal for Ring of Honor. They may do some indies here and there, but I highly doubt they're gonna be around anymore in Impact Wrestling. I'm just trying to be realistic. I would love to see them float back and forth, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I was really hoping for OGK versus the Briscoes, after Emergence. That's what I was hoping for. Yeah. So I'm still think we're going to get OGK versus the Good Brothers come Emergence.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think it'll happen. Good Brothers, their days are numbered in the company, and it is what it is. They've spent a couple years with Impact, and they've done nothing but good. And in my opinion, I know they're not everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. Some people don't like their work rate. Well, they're not. They're a different kind of team, and they've been around a while.
Yeah.
So when they show up and they walk in a room, they turn some heads, and sometimes that's just what you need for that moment. Yeah. So.
May's asking for your opinion on the Jonathan Gresham situation, Jay Bone. I gave him mine, and I'm not happy at all. Yeah. And so,
well, I tell you what, the only thing we know is something that I shared in our Discord, the TNI Discord. For those of you who are not in the TNI Discord, I think that invite is in the description. If it's not, it's in the TNI-US descriptions of those videos. Go check it out. I it's hard to say, guys. Look, because a lot of stuff still is not confirmed. It's presented out there by one person. Usually, if something catches fire, a bunch of people confirm it. We don't have the conversation per se where so and so was cussed out by so and so. So, like I said, take that with a grain of salt. I would find it hard to believe that Jonathan Gresham is that unprofessional, but hey, we've seen worse, right? And I tell you what, I don't care if he's Jordan Grace's husband, if that's how he treated the situation with TK and was that unprofessional, I don't want him back in Impact. You know, that's just me. It's like, okay, so if he does this stuff over here, who's to say he's not going to do it over here or over here or over here? I just, Impact, I know, tries to stay away from the controversy, the troublemakers. And right now, Jonathan Gresham just made himself look like a very unprofessional troublemaker. Look, and I don't care. I don't care what his communication problem is. You got to work that stuff out professionally backstage. I get people can get frustrated. I've worked in places where the communication level sucks balls. I get it. You can't act that way.
I think he just felt insulted, really, more than anything else. He's carried Ring of Honor for so long, and then to just lose it to
get that.
Tony Khan's big puppy.
And this isn't me necessarily defending TK, so please don't be like, he's just no. I'm smart talking to the chat like he's just an AEW mark. No, look, Tony Khan's company has its flaws. I get it. It's not perfect. No company is perfect. Hell, Triple H running WWE right now is not perfect. Every company is going to have its stepping stones. And if communication is one of the things that's an issue, then they got to work on that internally. But it shouldn't. That kind of stuff shouldn't even hit the sheets at all. That should be private conversations between A and B, and everyone else should see their way out.
You've had a lot of times where this has happened, so by now it should have figured it out. Haven't you? So it's a case of, once, okay, let it slide. Twice, okay, mistakes happen, but 3 times, okay, you should have sorted yourself out by now. And, Impact, yeah, okay, you've had mistakes, but they seem to be able to sort this kind of thing out. So, I mean, I always think, okay, people make mistakes in the past and you can change. But if you see things happen more than once, then like you say, maybe steer clear. So I would say, okay, if Gresham wants to come to Impact, give him a shot. If you see that kind of behaviour happen again, then there is an issue there.
Right.
Like you've seen in the past with other wrestlers. They've hired other wrestlers. Like we always said this about the Jeff Hardy situation. He was always better at Impact because it was taped, so he could spend more time at home.
Yeah.
He always struggled on the road, didn't he?
Yeah.
And yet it's when he's got in trouble recently, he has been at home. You see, he's been at home going from point A to point B. So that's not even. He's just gotten to the point where he's just completely gone off the rails now, as we've sadly seen in videos that have come to the light of day.
Yeah. But then different companies look after you in different ways, don't they?
Yeah. Every company's different. Every company has their different communication levels, and ways to make or try to make everyone feel like it's a family, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And if nobody else has anything else to add, then that will round it up for today. So let's just get this script going. Please don't forget to head over to the TNI Patreon for exclusive content and please don't forget to head over to the TNI Patreon for exclusive content. When you sign up, you can also make sure you watch tomorrow's flagship TNI show live directly after Impact Wrestling is aired, live on Twitch and on YouTube. Also, all TNI shows are available for you to listen on the go as audio fans via SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And Steve, where can we find you?
You can find me over on the Twitter at simplysteve311 for everything Impact Wrestling related. Try to post on there as much as I can. So give me a follow and I'll give you a follow back.
You can find me on Twitter at JokeEmptySpace. You can jump onto Facebook or Twitter, look for Empty Space Into the Void. Or if you fancy to test your taste buds and tickle your sense of humor, you can step into the empty space, look for #DailyGiggle, but come in with an open mind and you just might keep your sanity. The eyes are there, guys, but you can't see them through my glasses. I do apologize. And you can track down the Bison who is absent today at Lord Bison 45. So, well, to thank you and shout out to J-Bone for joining us at the end, just to give us a bit of extra time because we were wrapping up very, very prematurely. But then when there's two of us, we've been so used to having three guys, it goes on for an hour and a half. So with the two of us, it went on for just over about 40 minutes. So,
That's all right. That's all right. You guys are
we
always
nearly went on for
killing
an hour
it.
and a half anyway, chatting.
Yeah, so please take the time to help us out by moving up the rankings on YouTube by giving us a thumbs up, guys. And if you're new to us, please give us and you like what you've seen, then please click on that subscribe button. Don't forget that bell, a tickle, a squeeze, a grope maybe, or maybe even a smash. And
I'll go for the smash,
Yeah. And never miss a listen of any of the TNI UK or US teams' great content each week. And don't forget, if you want to support TNI, head over to Spreadshirt store. Head over to the Spreadshirt store or to ProWrestlingTees.com/Total Nonstop Impact. And with that being said, I've been the Joker. He has been Simply Steve. And a shout out to J-Bone too for joining us, as well as the two dogs fighting in the background, Sammy and Susie. Take care to everybody. Much love to the TNI tribe, and we'll see you next week, where the Bison will hopefully be in Chicago, but Steve and I will be hosting again next week while the Bison is away. So we'll see you guys next week. And in the comments, let us know how we've done today, because this has been my first time hosting for a very long time. So hopefully I didn't let you guys down. Once again, take care, and much love to the TNI tribe. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.
We're Bison! We are in